Go safely down. So please come and ask, come and talk to me, come and talk to Ian or any of the pilots. A round of applause for IAD, please, and I'll hand you over to the Dawn Patrol.
Thank you very much indeed. That was absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Kevin. And hey, we're going to hand the microphone over to another fabulous commentator, and here it is coming up right now. I think it's David, is it? Dave, he's going to tell us. Chris, I do apologise. Chris. Yeah, no idea. Chris is going to tell us all about Dawn Patrol. Chris, over to you, sir.
I bet he just changed his name to confuse you, Stu.
Okay, thanks, Sid.
What a man. I love him.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Weston Park 2023 and today's display of the Dawn Patrol. A quick little bit about the Dawn Patrol. Well, they're just assembling it on the flight line, formed about 12 years ago. Myself and Ian, one of the pilots today, had this bright idea that flying third scale World War I aircraft might be a good idea in formation. Currently today we have 6 of our aircraft to display. We have 3 allies, 3 Sopwith pups, and 3 of the opponents, the Germans, with 2 Fokker D7s and a DR1, a dry decker. They haven't told me what they're going to be doing performance-wise, so we'll be watching closely. So pick your side, pick your opponents, and away they go. The first Sopwith pups are off in the air now. Formation takeoff of the 3. Closely followed by the 3 Germans, led there by the DR1. That's the triplane you see. And the black and the red Fokker D7s are following them into the air. They'll do a nice couple of big circuits while they just get themselves together. And flying today of the 6 we have Ian Redshaw, the fellow former of Dawn Patrol, flying one of the Sopwith pups from Naval 3 Squadron. All the planes in the Dawn Patrol are built to 1/3 scale. All are decorated colour schemes of famous pilots of the conflict. All World War I aces, all significant aircraft. Most of them today are all in the colour schemes of aces from one side of the conflict to another. And Ian's is Lloyd Breedner, whichever way you pronounce that. There's the 3 Sopwith pups there in a nice tight formation, slowly up the stream. Followed by a slightly quicker 2 and 1 ship formation coming up behind them. Second Sopwith pup, the green one with Chin Chow on the side, is flown by George Schoen, a name known from many years in the past with his grandfather, flying most of the model shows in many years past, coming down now into a nice approach and break down to the right hand end of the strip. The 3rd Sopwith pup is flown by Andy Johnson, again from Naval 3 Squadron. The Germans now, Keith Barnes is flying the Fokker DR1, the dry decker, followed by the red D7 is flown by Steve Audrey, and the black one is flown by Richard. Sopwith pups there doing a nice touch and go under the overflying of the 2 of the Fokkers, 3 of the Fokkers there, Steve. They'll do nicely loose formations using these trees to the full extent around the back of them, using the spaces between. For those models out there, we can run through George Schoen's Chin Chow is powered by a 74cc Zenoa flat twin. Ian's Sopwith pup, the Lloyd Breedner one with the silver cowl, is powered by a Zenoa 38, running through a 3-to-1 reduction unit, hence the scale propeller you see on the front when it's static. The lead aircraft is the black D7 there, and that is Richards. And that is Joseph Jacob of Jasta 7, one of the highest scoring aces of World War I. Steve Audrey was the red D7. Heinz Kussner was the pilot of that aircraft in 1918. D7s both late in the conflict, they arrived in 1918. They were at the very cutting edge of fighting aircraft at the time. D7s, if you look up on the floor, the Fokkers have no rigging wires. They use cantilever wings and struts, whereas you will see the Sopwith pups of the British airmen were tied together by lots and lots of rigging wires. Two different schools of thought on what was a good aircraft or not at the time. Sopwith pups much earlier in the conflict, about 2016, they were a stalwart of many squadrons flying in the conflict. The Fokker DR1, the triplane, there he is, he's the lowest of this bunch coming through. There's probably the second most famous name after, I'm just watching how close they were getting there then. The second most famous name, second highest scoring ace of the Germans, with 62 to his credit, flown in just before Ernst Udet, who survived the war and went on to design many aircraft and was instrumental in designing the Stuka dive bomber in World War II. And he was the second highest. The highest ace of World War I in the Germans was, of course, the Red Baron, who made his name flying the triplane, the famous Red Baron. Nice 3 touch and goes there from the pups. In these conditions with these aircraft around these trees, as you can appreciate, they don't fly as fast as jets, and it does take them quite a bit of time to get back together if they do wander away, and they should be in 2-3s shortly. Pups there nicely over the far side. It was the idea to fly the Dawn Patrol using third scale aircraft, but they display well in there, they fly better than smaller models, they're good to see together. They fly at a more stable, slower apparent speed than the smaller planes. Extremely manoeuvrable. The D7s was famous during the First World War in that during the armistice they were the one piece of armament that was demanded by the alliances that was surrendered by the Germans. It was considered to be such a danger, such an effective weapon that they were taken in the sign of the arms that they would no longer, the Germans would no longer be able to have them. They were all handed over. You'll see them flying circuits, 8s, standard sort of manoeuvres, and this the reason for this is you will have seen films from Hollywood of World War I conflicts, and you'll see these biplanes flying around the sky, looping and rolling, and dogfighting and twisting. Don't believe Hollywood. A dogfight in World War I was a turning war. The idea was that you'd outturned your opponent. If you could fly slower, tighter, you could get onto the tail of your opponent, shoot his tail, and down he would go. One of the finest aircraft for this was the DR1. Such a short wing, it would turn almost 90 degrees, still flying what you would think of as forwards. They could fly at almost 90 degrees and shoot at the tailplane of the opponent. Here we have an opposition pass, Sopwiths below, Fokkers above. As Keith displaying, the Drydecker is capable of rolling manoeuvres. They all are as models, and these things would have been experimented with during the conflicts, but they were never massively used in combat. They were just, the aircraft were just too fragile and too unreliable to start doing too many trick manoeuvres, shall we call them. The idea was to get behind your opponents, either behind them where they couldn't see you, below them behind in your 6 o'clock position, slightly above, or like I say, behind, and out-turn them so as they turned across in front of you, you outflanked them, shot the controls or the tailplanes, and down they went. The unfortunate consequence of that for the British was that British pilots weren't allowed parachutes. German pilots were allowed parachutes, British pilots weren't. The powers that be at the time decided that if they gave the pilot a parachute, he might jump out of a perfectly good aeroplane. The great fear of many pilots during this conflict was fire. If their aircraft caught fire, as you can imagine, doped fabric, wood, fuel would have burned really well. And yes, this is all, they're all on files now. So a round of applause, folks. That's the display for the Dawn Patrol for today. We'll be back tomorrow. We have a dead stick on one pup, the other two will avoid him. And yep, all down and free. The helpers get out to retrieve that one now. And you're back to this man with the microphone. Don't know his name, but thank you very much. Okay, thanks, John. All the best.
Wasn't that wonderful? Right, we've got a full size coming in now, so you can retrieve your models, and all pilots and everybody on the flight line go back to the barriers, please. We can't continue.